Total Pro Sports presents 15 athletes who were murdered. It's a shame that it happens, but there have been a number of professional athletes who have been murdered. It's sad when human life is taken away by anyone else. It happens to athletes, and it's very tragic that we have to go through it. Here are 15 athletes who were infamously murdered. Number 15, Yvonne Calderon. Yvonne the Terrible was a one-time All-Star and played 9 years in Major League Baseball for 5 different teams. A decade after his career, he was shot in a bar in Puerto Rico and sadly died. He was just 41 years of age. Number 14, Deron Williams. Williams had a long career ahead of him. A second-round pick for the Denver Broncos, he had finished his sophomore season. Shortly after that, he was killed in a drive-by shooting after attending a party in which there was a brawl that allegedly led to the tragic death of Williams. A gang member reportedly confessed to the killing and was sentenced to life in prison in 2010. Number 13, Fred Lane. Fred Lane was an up-and-coming running back for the Carolina Panthers. He had just gotten past the 2000 career rushing yard plateau. His wife Deidre killed him with a shotgun. The judge found her actions were premeditated, and she received a shorter sentence and was released in 2009. Number 12, Ben Wilson. He was ranked the number 1 high school player in America. Ben Wilson appeared to have it all going for him. He could have been an MJ, LeBron, or Kobe. Sadly, he got into an altercation with 2 students, with one of them shooting him after Wilson lunged at the gunman. The assailant was released from prison in 2005. Number 11, Ricky Dozin. Ricky Dozin was one of the early superstars of professional wrestling in Japan. He put both that and sumo wrestling on the map. While he was partying at a club in Tokyo, a Yakuza gang member stabbed him. A week later, Ricky Dozin died from peritonitis. Number 10, Lorenzen Wright. 13-year veteran Lorenzen Wright had a stellar NBA career, averaging 8 points and 6.4 rebounds a game as a towering 6'11" player. He was later found murdered in Tennessee. No one has been charged with his murder, and little developments have occurred. Hopefully, police can bring justice to the family of an innocent man. Number 9, Bruiser Brody. One of the true pioneers of brawling in professional wrestling, Bruiser Brody was one of the most entertaining characters the sport had ever seen. He got into an altercation with Jose Gonzalez, another wrestler, and Brody was stabbed to death. Gonzalez was acquitted of murder due to self-defense. Number 8, Lymon Bostock. A .311 career hitter, Bostock had played just 4 seasons in his MLB career before he was murdered. While driving Barbara Smith and her cousin home, her estranged husband tried to kill her with a shotgun. Bostock was hit instead and died shortly after. His assailant was found not guilty because of insanity, but did later die at age 64 in 2010. Number 7, Trevor Berbick. Berbick had quite the 24-year boxing career. He lost his WBC heavyweight title to a 20-year-old man named Mike Tyson. Berbick also beat Muhammad Ali in the legend's last ever fight. Berbick's 18-year-old nephew and friend were charged with murder after he was beaten viciously with a pipe to the head. Thankfully, his nephew got life in prison, and his friend received 14 years. Number 6, Vernon Forrest. 41 wins and just 3 losses in his boxing career. Forrest was one of the more underrated boxers ever. With welterweight and lightweight titles under his name, he was one of the best. At a gas station in 2009, 2 men shot Forrest on separate occasions, and another accomplice was involved. One person was sentenced to death, while the other 2 were sentenced to life in prison. Number 5, Dino Bravo. A towering superstar in the World Wrestling Federation, Bravo earned the name of the world's strongest man. Bravo was shot dead in his home in Quebec. No one knows for sure what happened, but possible connections to the mafia may have led him to his untimely death. Number 4, Vladimir Sabich. One of the great American Olympic skiers, Sabich was nicknamed as Spider, and rightfully so. Few American skiers have made a name for themselves like he did. In a very strange case, his girlfriend shot and killed him at home, but she claimed the gun was accidentally discharged when he was showing her how to use it. She only spent 30 days in prison and paid a minor fine for it. Much like the Oscar Pistorius case, no one else will know for sure what happened, but the loss of a star athlete was a tragedy. Number 3. Sean Taylor. A two-time Pro Bowl safety for the Washington Redskins, Taylor's life came to an abrupt end after intruders shot and killed him outside his home. No one knows for sure what exactly went down, but 5 men were charged with the crime. For an innocent person to be killed during his promising career is one of the most devastating cases in NFL history. Number 2. Steve McNair. McNair was one of the best quarterbacks the NFL had ever witnessed. He led the Tennessee Titans to a Super Bowl appearance, went to 3 Pro Bowls, and shared an MVP with Peyton Manning. McNair's girlfriend shot and killed him before killing herself. One of the best quarterbacks of our time was killed for no reasonable circumstance. Another real tragedy where a good person had no reason to be killed. And number 1, Andres Escobar. Escobar was a star player on Colombia's national soccer team. A heavy favorite in the World Cup, Escobar accidentally committed an own goal against the underdog Americans. With USA winning the game 2-1, Colombia failed to advance. Escobar was killed after a night out at the bar, with major speculation that he was killed for his own goal, which lost gamblers a ton of money. A drug cartel member confessed to the murder but was out of jail by 2005 for good behavior. Still, Escobar's death was a major despair in sports. And that's it for 15 athletes who were murdered. But wait, we're not done with you yet. In the comments below, we want to know, what are your favorite memories of these fallen sports stars? And for more videos, click subscribe.